In this video, we'll take a look at creating a mechanism with multiple connections, and it will have pin connections, slider connections, and gear connections. And I'm also going to use what's called a cam synthesis curve in order to define the appropriate shape of this camshaft in order to drive the rocker, which will move the valve up and down. And so let me go to this window over here. Let me turn on my datum axis and plane display. So here I have a new assembly started, and there is a skeleton model that contains a bunch of datum features that will help me locate the different components inside of there. And so the first component I'm going to assemble is going to be the camshaft. So let me choose camshaft, and I do not need the accessory window. And so for this one, it will have one rotational degree of freedom, which is a pin connection, which I can select from the dashboard. And the first thing that I'm going to line up are the axes in the camshaft and the axis in the skeleton model. And then to eliminate translation, I'm going to use this datum plane called front from the skeleton and this flat surface from the component. And now it tells me my connection definition is complete, so I can click the check mark. And so there is the camshaft component. Now I am going to assemble the rocker shaft, and the rocker shaft doesn't have any degrees of freedom, so I'm going to fully constrain that one. So we'll click the assemble button. Let's grab rocker shaft. And for this one, again, we can use a couple axes and it makes them coincident. Let's use the plane and the flat surface. And if I go to the placement tab, you'll see that allow assumptions is turned on. In this case, I don't care about the rotation angle of that component, but if I wanted to, I could add an additional constraint for the angle that it should be rotated at. But that's good enough. Let's hit the check mark. The next component that's going to be assembled is the rocker assembly that will rotate about the rocker shaft. So let's click assemble, grab the rocker assembly, and for this particular component, it will also have a rotational degree of freedom, so that is another pin connection. So I'll select pin. In this case, rather than using axes, I've got geometry, so I'll select these cylindrical surfaces, and we're going to use the datum plane called front and line it up with this datum plane in the skeleton. And that's good. So connection definition complete. Let's hit the check mark. And the last component in here is going to be that valve, which is going to slide up and down. So assemble valve.prt. And for one translational degree of freedom, that is a slider connection. And I will pick this axis. And right now the axis is not visible. Oops. The axis is not visible in this part. Let me go to my layers and pick this component. Show. There we go. Now I can pick the axis. And to eliminate rotation, let me choose to display in its own separate window just so I can get to the datum plane called front from the second model tree. And let's use this plane over here. So again, our connection definition is complete. Let me hit the check mark. And to reduce my screen clutter, I don't need to see my axes or my planes anymore. And so you can see that a number of the different components in here have these glyphs or symbols next to them in the model tree, indicating that they have mechanism connections assigned to them. So the first thing that I'm going to do is define the resulting motion I want in this valve component. And actually, there's one thing that I forgot to do. I meant to specify a regeneration value for the valve component. Let me turn on my datum plane display. If you want to make a change, you can always edit definition. I'm going to open up the placement tab, And for the translation axes, I'm going to define, let's drag it up over here. I want the regeneration value to be a distance between this datum plane and let's select our component reference. And for the assembly 0 reference, it's going to be that DTM7. And I initially want them to have a distance of 0.1 between them. And let's turn off the plane display. Normally, I do not use regeneration values if I'm putting assemblies into sub-assemblies, but in this particular case, I do want to specify that regeneration value so that it goes there. I could use snapshots instead, and I typically do that when I have mechanisms in sub-assemblies going into higher level assemblies and higher level assemblies. I find them easier to manage, but since this is the only assembly level that I'm working at, I'm going to use the regeneration value. So I can do a quick Control-G and always go back to this location. And for the motion that I want the valve to do, I want it to move a total stroke starting at this location of 1/2 an inch. And so for it to go down and then up again, that's going to be a motor using a cosine function. So to define the motor on that component, let's go to Applications and then Mechanism. And here you can see the little glyphs on the computer screen. And the way I like to define the motors, I find the easiest thing to do is to find the appropriate connection. This is the symbol for slider connection. Select the translation axis and then go to motor. And if I go to the profile details, I'm going to define the position of this component. And again, I'm going to use a cosine motion, so it goes down and then back up. And you can see that there are 4 different coefficients in here. If I put my mouse over the name of the profile, it shows me the equation of motion. In this case, A is the amplitude, T is the period, and we have a couple offsets, B and C. And so, to define the shape of the cam later on, this is just going to be activated through 1/4 of the motion of the main camshaft. So I'm going to put in a period of 0.25. And I said that I wanted the motion to be a 1/2 an inch. So the amplitude is actually going to be half of that. So let me enter in 0.25. And I'm going to turn on the display of the graph. And so right now I'll start at a position of 0.25, go to -0.25, and then back up to 0. Actually, its current position right now is 0.1, so I need to shift this. And so let's try -0.15. That's good. So current position is 0.1. It'll go down 1/2 an inch from position of 0.1 to -0.4, and then back up again. And so I like having the graph open as I'm trying to figure out what's the exact motion that I want to get. So I'm happy for these different coefficients. Let's hit the check mark, and I'm going to use Control-G to regenerate. Just make sure I'm at my regeneration position. To be safe, earlier I said that I wasn't going to use snapshots. Just to show you how you can do that, I can click on the drag components, and then if snapshots is not expanded, you can expand it. Hit the camera, type in the name that you want to use, like start. And that way we have a snapshot. And just to test this motion, I'm going to click on Analyses, and in the mini toolbar, choose Create a New Analysis. And I'm going to call this the valve test, just to make sure that my valve is moving the way that I want. I'm going to do a kinematic analysis, and it only needs to be for 1 second. Frame rate, let's calculate a whole lot more frames through its motion. And for the motors, I just want the valve to run through that 0.25, just one motion. If I click run, yep, that's good. That is what I want the valve to do during its motion. So let's click OK out of there just so I can have the valve test later on if I want to use it. And the next thing to do is to define a cam connection between the rocker assembly and this valve part. And I'm going to turn on my datum point display because I'm going to need a couple points in here. To create a cam, we'll click on the icon from the ribbon, and for the first cam surface, I'm going to pick this flat surface over here, then click OK. And for the depth display settings, how big it's going to display the cam on the computer screen, that's why I turn on the point display. I have a couple datum points I can use for the cam front and the cam back. And that's good for the first part of the cam. For the second cam, I'm going to use a curve in here. Let me use the control key and grab this other curve on top of the valve part, and then click OK. And from the Properties tab, I'm not going to enable liftoff, and I'm not going to smoothen the cam curves. Let's click the OK button, and you'll notice that the rocker adjusted its position, so it's going to be connected to the valve now. And so I have my cam defined in here. I have my valve motion that I want. I'm going to have a motor on the blue part to revolve it one time around. So again, let's go to our connections, joints, and this first one is for the cam part. Let me expand this and select the rotation axis. And from the mini toolbar, I can create a servo motor. And for this one, for the profile, rather than angular position, I'm going to do angular velocity. I'm going to do a constant velocity. Let's use 360 degrees as per second, so I can run it for 1 second, and the cam part will do 1 revolution. All right, let me hit the check mark in here. And now we're ready to create another kinematic analysis. And for this one, let me click on Analyses, click on New, and I'm going to call this one Cam Synthesis. This one is just to provide the motion that allow me to define the cam synthesis curve that I'll use to define the cam shape later on. And let's change this to a kinematic analysis. And again, we're just going to run for 1 second, crank up the frame rate. Here's where I can specify that I want to use the start snapshot as the initial position. Then go to the Motors tab, and you know what, I'm going to cancel out of here. One thing I like to do is rename the motors just so I know which one is which. So let's go Edit Definition of Motor 1, go to the Properties tab. I can call this the valve motor. And motor 2, edit definition, go to the Properties tab. This is going to be the cam motor. And go to Analyses, click New. Let's call this cam synthesis like before, if I can spell. We'll do a kinematic analysis for 1 second, crank up the frame rate, specify the snapshot, and for the motors, I'm going to have the valve motor just run for a 1/4 second, and the cam motor run the entire time. Let's click the Run button, and you can see that the cam rotated through one motion, and we had the valve activate for that 1/4 second. So now that I ran this analysis, I'm able to generate a special kind of result called a cam synthesis curve that will allow me to define what shape should this part have in order to move the rocker through that motion that'll get the intended motion in the valve part. So to create a cam synthesis curve, you go to the Analysis drop-down menu and choose Trace Curve. And for the paper part, that's the part that's going to end up getting the curve created in it. So I'll select the camshaft part. And rather than doing a trace curve, we're going to do a cam synthesis curve. And the edge that I want to follow is actually the edge on this roller of the rocker assembly. Select those 2 parts over there, click OK. Which result set do I want to use? Cam synthesis. And if I click the preview button, there you can see the shapes of the curves that will be generated. Let's click the OK button, and I can select the camshaft part over here and activate it. And if I expand the camshaft part, we have a couple of cam synthesis curves. There's a big one on the outside and smaller one on the inside. It's the inside one that I want to use. And when I expand it, you can see that there is a coordinate system and some planes. But the important thing is this curve over here. So I can, let's actually, for simplicity, let's open this up in its own separate window. Seeing as, let's get out of mechanism mode for a second. And I'm not going to save the results over there. Let's activate the camshaft part. And I can hide the second cam synthesis curve, expand the first one, select trace, and from the mini toolbar, choose the extrude command. Let's do a symmetric depth. And that's way too big. Let's drag it in. Looks like a value of 1 should be good. And hit the check mark. So now that is the shape of the cam that we'll use in this part. And so jump back over to mechanism mode. And so to define a cam between the camshaft and that roller, we'll go to cams. And I'm going to turn on auto select. I like auto select because when I do that, I select one surface and it'll grab all the tangent surfaces. Then for cam 2, auto select, select this roller part and it grabs the tangent surfaces. And for properties, we're not going to enable liftoff or smoothen the cam curves. Click OK. And so now I've got the cam in that part over there. Now we'll do our final analysis. And so this one, let's click New. And this is going to be the actual cam motion. And let's run it for a few revolutions. Let's do 5 seconds. Frame rate of 100. I use the same snapshot as before. And when I go to motors, the only motor that I want to use is the cam motor. So let's select the valve motor and remove it. And now when I click run, you can see that my cam is working the way that I want it to. And so that's how we can define a mechanism with pin connections, slider connections, and gear pair connections. And I actually used the special kind of result called the cam synthesis curve to define the shape of the cam that would end up giving us our intended motion. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more information, please visit www.creowindchill.com. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, write a comment, and click the subscribe button to be informed when new videos are uploaded. Thank you very much.